staff reading. This staff reading is called as foresight, and I'll enter the staff reading in foresight column. So after taking this staff reading, I can calculate the RL. It is 99.8. Now I'm shifting the instrument at point 2. So I'll shift the instrument and I'll again take staff reading on same point, change point 1. Now this particular staff reading is called as backside because elevation of change point 1 is already known. It is 99.8. So this particular staff reading, I'll enter it in backside column. Next, I'm taking this staff. I'm taking staff reading again on change point 1 because I want to calculate the new height of instrument. I have shifted my instrument here, so I am getting new line of sight. So the height of instrument has changed. So to calculate this new height of instrument, I am taking backside on change point. So height of instrument is RL plus backside. So RL is 99.8 and backside is 1.8. So new height of instrument is 101.6. So I have calculated new height of instrument 101.6. So I'll again continue the survey. Next, I also want to find the elevation of the floor of the first year block. Now, so I'll keep a staff here and I'll take reading. So let's say this particular reading is 1.3 meters. Okay, so this is this point is the floor of first year block. I'll hold the staff here. And I'll take staff reading, and this staff reading is 1.3. So I'm getting a staff reading of 1.3 meters. Now how do I calculate its elevation? Elevation of this point is vertical distance of that point from the datum. So this is the RL of, let's call it point C. Okay. This is point C. So how do I calculate RL of point C? So before that, this particular staff reading 1.3, is it a backside, foresight, or intermediate sight? It is not a backside because RL of point C is unknown. I still don't know what is the RL of C, so it is not a backside. So the RL of this point is unknown. It has to be an intermediate sight or foresight. Now, am I changing the instrument after taking this reading? No. So after this intermediate reading, this is not the final reading. So this will be intermediate sight. So this particular reading will be intermediate sight. So I'll write this in intermediate sight column. 1.3. It is taken on point C, which is the first year block. The first year block. And this particular reading is intermediate sight. So how to calculate the RL? Here we have already generalized formula. RL is equal to HI minus IS. HI is 101.6 and IS is 1.3. So RL is 101.6 minus IS is 1.3. 1.3. So RL is 100.3. 3 meters. So this is the RL of point X. Can I see from this point? Can I see point B? No, I can't. I cannot see point B. So I'll have to take change point. So I'll take one more change point 2, and I will take staff reading on this particular change point. So in the vertical plane, I'm taking a change point here. So this is change point 2. I'll hold the staff on change point 2. Now let this reading be equal to, okay. Now let this reading be 0.8 meter. Now this 0.8 meter staff reading, it is not a backside because we don't know what is the elevation of change point 2, and it can either be intermediate side or foresight. Now after taking staff reading on change point 2, I intend to change the instrument point. So this is the last staff reading from this particular instrument point. So this 0.8 staff reading is foresight. So I'll enter it in foresight. So 0.8, sorry, I'll enter it in foresight, and it is on change point 2. So I'll write it as station 3. Now I can calculate the RL of change point 2. What is how to calculate the RL? Okay. So RL is vertical distance of the point from the datum. Now I can calculate this RL as height of instrument minus the foresight. I've already generalized the formula. RL is equal to height of instrument minus foresight. So height of instrument is 101.6, 101.6 minus foresight is 0.8. So 101.6 minus 0.8 is 100.8. So I have calculated the RL of change point 2. Now I have to shift the instrument. I have to shift the instrument to instrument point 3. I'll shift the instrument. Now because I have shifted the instrument, the height of instrument will be changed. Okay. I'll shift the instrument to instrument point 3. So I'm shifting the instrument here to the instrument point 3. Now because my instrument point is here, my line of sight will be this. Height of instrument is changed. The level of line of sight is changed. So this is the new line of sight or new height of instrument. So what is the height of instrument now? It is from the vertical distance from line of sight to datum. So this is the new height of instrument. So new height of instrument, how to calculate height of instrument? Height of instrument is RL plus backside. So I have to take backside on change. So let's say I take a backside on change point, staff reading on change point, and this staff reading is equal to 2 meters. So I take a staff reading backside. So and this staff reading is equal to 2 meters. I'll enter this in backside column 2 meters. So what is the new height of instrument? Height of instrument is equal to RL plus backside. So RL is 100.8 plus backside is 2 meters. So 102.8. So this is the new height of instrument. HI is 100.8, that is RL 100.8 plus 2 meters. So new height of instrument is 102.8 meters. Now from this particular point, instrument point, I can easily sight the last point, that is foresight. Sorry, the last point, that is the floor of main building. So this point so I'll hold the staff on that point. And I'll measure the RL. So this is the RL. RL is height of instrument minus this particular staff reading. Now let's say I get a staff reading of 0.8 meters, or let's say 1.3 meter. This is the staff reading. So this staff reading is the last staff reading. So I'll write this staff reading in foresight. It is a last staff reading, and I don't know what is the elevation of floor of the main building. It is the last staff reading, so I'll enter it in foresight column. So this is main building floor. Main building floor. So it is my last point, last reading. So I'll enter it in foresight. So now I can calculate the RL. RL is height of instrument minus foresight. Height of instrument is 102.8 minus foresight 1.3. So RL is 101.5 meters. So this is the end of tabulation. Okay, anyone has any doubts? If you have any doubts, please ask.
No doubt, sir.
Okay, so this is how tabulation of leveling is done. Okay, there is an arithmetic check for this tabulation. Okay, that arithmetic check is you have to calculate the summation of backside, all the backside readings, and you have to calculate the summation of all the foresight readings. So here, summation of all the backside readings are 0.5 plus 1.8 plus 2 meters. It is so summation is 4.3 meters. Okay, next I'll calculate the summation of all the foresight readings. 0.7 plus 1.8 plus 1.3. So summation of all the readings is 2.8. Next, I'll calculate the difference between first RL and last RL. So difference between first RL and last RL is first RL is 100, last RL is 1.5. So it is 1.5 minus 100. So difference is 1.5 meters. Okay. What is the difference between summation of foresight and summation of backside? Okay, the difference is 4.3 minus 2.8. Difference is 1.5. What is the difference between first RL and last RL? It is also 1.5. So this is the arithmetic check you have to apply. Arithmetic check is summation of difference between summation of foresight and summation of backside is equal to difference between first RL and last RL. So if these values match, then your tabulation is correct. So you have to always perform this check after the calculation of your leveling. difference between summation of foresight and summation of backside must be equal to difference between first RL and last RL. Now, what was the aim of the survey? I wanted to find the difference in elevation between the floor of civil block and the floor of main block. So RL of point A is 99 and RL of point B is 101.5. So what is the difference in elevation or difference in level between it is 101 point, sorry, RL of A is 99 meters, RL of B is, it is at a higher elevation, so RL of B is 101.5 meters. So difference is 2.5 meters. So difference in elevation between point A and point B is 2.5 meters. So this is how you conduct and this is how you tabulate the leveling readings, and you perform an arithmetic check to see whether the calculations are correct or wrong. Okay. Now this is about differential leveling. The next part is okay. The next type of leveling is fly leveling. Now, let's say I want to, this is my college campus. Okay, and this is my college campus and I want to conduct some survey in the college campus. I told you, you have to always start leveling from a benchmark. So I don't have any benchmark in my college campus. The nearest benchmark is at the railway station, Alnavar. So the distance from railway station to the distance from railway station to our campus is about 15 kilometers. So I have to survey for a length of 15 kilometers. So it is a waste of time. So for a small scale survey, like the survey conducted in our campus, I do not need permanent benchmarks, especially if they are very far from the surveying area. So for this particular survey, I can assume an arbitrary benchmark in my campus itself. So I can assume an arbitrary benchmark, let's say near the temple, and I can conduct the survey in my campus. But let's say I'm conducting the survey for complete Haryal. Okay, I want to lay down water supply pipes, 24/7 water supply pipes. So I want to conduct survey for complete Haryal Taluk. Now this is a very important survey, large scale survey. So I cannot assume an arbitrary benchmark. I told you for large scale surveys, mean sea level must be taken as datum. So I have to carry out, but the nearest benchmark is in Palnava railway station, which is 12 kilometers away. So what I'll do, I'll conduct a fly leveling and I will set up the benchmark near Haryad or in any government office in Haryad. Let's say I have a Panchayati office here. I'll set up a benchmark in Panchayati office. So actually benchmark is here at Alnawar railway station, but I am conducting a survey and I am establishing a new benchmark near our surveying area. Now this process of establishing benchmark near our survey site from a permanent benchmark is called as fly leveling. So I have to conduct survey from Alnawar railway station and I have to set up a benchmark at some government office in Haryad. So this process is called as fly leveling. If I don't have permanent benchmark near my surveying area, I have to conduct a fly leveling from a permanent benchmark near my surveying site and establish a benchmark near at my surveying site. So this process is called as fly leveling. So here I'll set up my instrument here and I'll take a staff reading on the permanent benchmark. So this staff reading taken on a permanent benchmark is called as backside. Next, I cannot see this point, so I'll take a change point and I'll take a staff reading on change point. So this particular staff reading taken on change point is foresight, because after taking staff reading on change point, I'll be shifting my instrument. So I'll shift the instrument. So height of instrument has changed. So I'll take a backside on change point. Next, again, I'll take a change point. So staff reading taken on change point is foresight. I'll shift the instrument. So I'll again take a staff reading on change point again. Next, again, I'll shift the instrument. To shift the instrument, I need change point. So staff reading taken on change point is foresight. I'll shift the instrument and I'll take backside on the change point. And finally, when I reach the desired point, I'll take a foresight on that particular point, because that is the final reading. So you can observe here in fly leveling, you only have backsides and foresights. There is no intermediate side here. My intention is to shift the benchmark from this point to this point. So I don't want RL of any other point. So that's why there are only backsides and foresights. I don't want to take any other readings. No other points are necessary. So fly leveling is conducted when you want to set up a benchmark near your surveying area and you want to bring that benchmark from a permanent benchmark which is shifted, which is situated a little far from your surveying area. Okay. Next type of leveling is profile leveling. Now, profile leveling is a type of leveling conducted for your roads. Okay, if this is the center line of the road, I want to know the profile of this center line. So at regular intervals, at 0, 10 meter, 20 meter, 30 meter, 40, 50, so on. I'll take readings. So I'll set up my instrument here. First, I'll take reading on a benchmark. Let's say this is benchmark. So I'll take a reading on benchmark. So this will be backside. Next, I'll start from the starting of the center line. So this, I don't know what is the RL of the starting point of the center line. So this is my intermediate side, and I am also not shifting the instrument after this point. So I'll take many such readings from a single instrument point. And when I cannot see the next point, I'll shift the instrument. Let's say I cannot sight this point. So I'll take a change point here. And I'll take foresight on the change point. And I'll shift the instrument to the next point. And I'll again take backsight on the change point and go on taking the further readings. When I take staff readings at regular intervals, I can calculate elevations of point. Let's say elevation of this point of 0 point is 100 meter. This is 10 meter point, 20 meter, 30 meter. I can plot the graph. At 0 point, elevation is 100 meters. At 10 meter, elevation is 99.8 meter. At 20 meter, elevation is 99.7 meter. If this is 0, 10, 20, 30. So at regular intervals, I'm calculating the elevations. So if I join all these points, I'll get the profile of the ground along the center line. Whether the ground level is increasing or decreasing, if I get the profile of the ground, I can fix the level of the road. Okay, when I fix the level of the road, I'll also know how much. Okay, if I fix up the level of the road here, let's say I'm fixing up the level of the road here. So you can see the ground level is below the road level here. So I have to excavate the earth here. Okay, sorry, here the ground level is below the road level. So I have to fill this difference with some soil. So here I have to do filling. Okay, in this part, road level is above the ground level. So I have to fill this gap. Here the road level is below the ground level. So I have to remove this soil. Here again, road level is above the ground level. So I have to fill this gap. Here road level is below the ground level. So I have to remove this soil. So how much soil is to be filled? How much soil is to be removed? I have to, this type of survey helps me calculate that volume of soil to be filled and volume of soil to be removed. You will do this calculation in your uh, in your areas and volumes module. So profile leveling, I'm calculating this type of survey. We are calculating the ground levels of the center line of the road, canal, railway line. Okay, and I'm plotting the profile in the graph. Okay, when I draw this graph and I have a road line or railway line or canal line, I can calculate how much earth has to be filled and how much earth has to be excavated. You will do this calculation in areas and volumes module. So profile leveling is very important whenever you are conducting road surveys. railway surveys or canal surveys. Okay, in this type of survey, there are many intermediate sites and there are only few back sites and foresights, because from a single point of instrument, you are trying to collect as much as readings as possible. So there are many intermediate sites in this type of leveling. Next is check leveling. Okay, check leveling is done. Let's say I have conducted survey from point A to point B. So this is point A, and you have conducted survey from point A to point B. Now you start your day's work at point A, and you end the day's work at point B. Now, just to cross check whether the work done is correct or no, I'll do check leveling. Check leveling is started from end point and you go towards the beginning. So you do your work from A to B, but you do check leveling from end to start. That is, we take, when you start the survey, you take point A as, let's say, benchmark, and you find the elevation of point B. Next, to check whether the readings are correct or no, I'll start from point B. I'll take point B as benchmark and I'll start a survey from point B and I'll calculate the RL of point A and I'll check whether this RL of point A we get the same value or no. If we get the same value, then the work done is correct. If we get different value, then work done will be wrong. So check leveling is to check the day's work. We start from the end point and we go towards the starting point. The next type of leveling is reciprocal leveling. Now, reciprocal leveling is conducted when there is an obstacle in between. Let's say you have a river here and you want to find the difference in elevation between point A and point B, which are on the opposite sides of the river. Usually, when there is no river, you would have set up your instrument in between point A and point B. But here, because there is an obstacle between those 2 points, you cannot set up your instrument exactly in between point A and point B. So first, I'll set up my instrument near point A. I'll take staff reading on point A and I'll take staff reading on point B. Next, I'll shift the instrument and I'll set up the instrument near point B. So I'll take a staff reading on point B and I will take a staff reading on point A. So this is reciprocal leveling. It is conducted when there is an obstruction between 2 points. An example is when there is a river in between 2 points and you want to find the difference in elevation between 2 points on the opposite banks of the river. So these are the different types of leveling that are conducted